Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about the situation between xQc and Adept and the matters that happened after their relationship came to an end. So let me show you this text that I saw from Adept. So recently it has become overwhelming for me with the social engineering Felix has orchestrated. So this is very strange that we are seeing this type of actions from Adept against xQc because based on what we have seen after this relationship has ended, Adept seemingly is upset and is taking actions to basically try to prove that they were common law married and they were not just in a relationship of a boyfriend and girlfriend. So what happened after that is that Felix stopped reacting and talking about it because Adept has the court order and temporary restriction order that prevents X from doing certain things, from talking and giving his perspective live on the platform that he has. So this sentence here is just not really accurate, because how would X orchestrated a social engineering against Adept by not being able to take any action on the situation or talking about it publicly? The only instance that I'm aware of is that 3 a.m. one night, Adept started knocking on the door, trying to get Felix's attention, and it was heard on the stream. And there was a little bit of an explanation given by xQc after that event happened. And I would argue that this was basically what Adept have done to ourselves. So there was no social engineering done. And Felix basically, from the time of that event happening, the separation, till now, was doing normal streams. Obviously, he was a little bit emotionally affected, as you normally would. But aside from that, there was no social engineering done. Like, he normally reacts to TikTok and play game. That's it. So that statement seems to be false to me. He's extremely calculated with his actions and will cater to the public's perception of him. So I think xQc was one of the most famous streamers, and is, and probably will be, without needing to do anything particularly, because he built his career by doing a streaming for long hours, and people just like him. So this is not something that needs calculation. It's just being who he is. So xQc had a past, and Adept is trying to bring that up during this specific time, even though that there is no connection between a relationship breaking and someone's past that was many years ago. So if you try to bring something in their past to try to damage their image, damage their public image, that's something that you're doing, and you're arguing that X was doing it to you, which is, again, false statement. Let's read the last paragraph here. Over the past couple of weeks, Felix has announced our breakup publicly, despite being aware that I requested more time so that I could keep my career intact and keep my family safe, especially after all of the torment and harassment we faced in 2021. So when you break up publicly on stream, and talk about it, this is what happens usually. People understand it. This is public information. And Felix wasn't talking about it. So I don't really see that statement as being completely true. But this is part of the side effect of being on a social platform and being online. People will notice what happens in your life, and that's the part of live streaming, sharing with people. So that's a symptom that most people have to deal with it. But the bigger picture here is that Adept is trying to handle a situation that happens to a lot of people. People go through breakups. It's a relationship. And when you're with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you don't see that this is working anymore. You try to break up and you talk it through with your partner, and that is it. People go their separate ways and deal with the situation. But in this case, what Adept is doing, or at least it seems to, is that she's trying to file for divorce, even though they were never married, based on what Felix said. And she's trying to portray themselves as common law married, which arguably is true. But again, xQc was successful in his career before Adept, and the contributions that he have done to his own career is obvious. He's been online for over 20 hours and for a long time. I mean, he was successful even before this relationship was at this stage. So I don't see any judge who would understand this argument that this common law marriage, if they accept that this was a common law marriage, they wouldn't understand, they wouldn't accept that this was the main contributing factor to xQc being wealthy and successful. This relationship wasn't the main factor. What was the main factor was that xQc was working hard and was popular because he was good with people, good on the stream, and knows what he's doing, and people like him. So now you are, as your actions shows, you're trying to basically go after assets of Felix, his car and the houses that he has and whatnot. I don't know what else might be, but if you manage to get something from Felix, I wouldn't assume that it would be much, because of the contributions are kind of transparent on the stream, so it can be seen by any judge, and it can be argued that the portion that Adept was contributing is not as high as much as xQc was contributing, obviously. So even though if you succeed, you wouldn't get a lot out of this, I would assume, and I would imagine, but this will ultimately the factor that people will see and will judge. And if you are worried about your public image, this is what you should be thinking about. And also, X is going to be able to make that portion back probably under a month or 3 months max. So if you're upset about the situation in the relationship and you want to get him back with whatever you can, I don't think that would be a success here. So that's unfortunate to see. I hope things changes for the better. And I think going after someone's assets after a relationship is over is just the worst type of reaction that you can have to that situation. And this is ultimately what people will see. So sometimes time will resolve things a little bit, and people will slow down, calm down a little bit, and have more sympathy towards that person that they're in a relationship with for a long time. I think it's important to have sympathy for both sides. At the end of the day, it's just a relationship. If you find value in that relationship and you seen value in that person at a time, I think after it's ended, you should be celebrating your time with them and learn whatever you've had to learn during that time. So that's my thought, and I wish them both well.